your ear a little closer to the ground, you would have heard the rumble of the train of change coming. You would have realized that what was happening at a local level was soon to bubble up to a national level. And that is why it is incredibly important to begin to, or continue to do these kind of local level experiments that you're going to be talking about, to drill down locally and make these things very real at a local level. You know, when people think about the New Deal, they tend to think that Franklin Delano Roosevelt came into Washington with a whole set of ideas and implemented them and made them happen. It required social movements to make them be in place, but many of those ideas actually came from local level experiments. So what LA has done with living wage laws bubbles up to the country. What LA has done with the ports, or tried to do with the ports, about bringing environmental justice issues and environmental protection and a thriving economy all together, along with unionization and better jobs, that really is a model for the rest of the country. And what LA is trying to do with being one of the greenest cities in the United States, what it's trying to do with retrofitting, what it's trying to do with green manufacturing, is bubbling up and can bubble up as a set of lessons for what we need to do at a national level. That is why the local is incredibly important. So, what do we look for as we go forward? Again, I think that we're in an extraordinary moment. These come around once in a generation. A chance to remake the relationship of the government to the economy, a chance to rebalance community and labor and corporate power, a chance to really remake our relationship to the environment. And in that case, it's not just a one-in-a-generation opportunity. Once in a generation, it's once in a species. Unless we get this right around climate change, we'll bake ourselves in this planet. So we need to get this right. We have a variety of challenges as we go forward. One is that we need to pay attention to this talk about the recession ending. You know, Newsweek has a new cover, the recession is over, the stock market is celebrating, everybody's saying the economy is coming back. And it shows you how different the economy is than people, right? Because people are continuing to struggle. I mean, a good sign for the economy is that people are losing jobs, but less people are losing jobs, right? And of course that is in some sense a good sign, but we really haven't turned things around. And so there's going to be big pressure in Washington to not do a second stimulus package, to stop spending. I mean, you know, look what just happened with this Cash for Clunkers program, right? And whatever you think of it, it actually worked, right? The fleet mileage went up by 10 miles a gallon. We've got old cars off the road. Dealers are doing quite well. Actually, it's a lot of U.S. companies and U.S. workers that are benefiting from this. It worked too well, so the Republicans want to make sure we stop it. Because we're not really in a recession. You need to watch that as we move forward. We need to get real about green. You know, when I think about green jobs, I often think about that old group, the hip-hop group, early in the days of hip-hop, Public Enemy. And their great song, see that ages me, right? And that great song, Don't Believe the Hype, right? There is a lot of hype around green jobs, and we need to be really careful as we move forward that we talk about what green really is, that we talk also about jobs that are about to be greened out of existence. It's not just the question of the jobs that we want to create, but what are we going to do as we begin to slow electrical generation, as we begin to clean things up, as people lose their jobs, and many of those jobs are union jobs, heavily held by minority workers. We need to have transition plans for those workers, as well as jobs and programs for the new green economy. And we need to step up our game. It's one thing to kind of call for green jobs. It's another thing to develop workforce development programs, retrofitting ordinances, and the kind of partnerships with business and with the workforce investment boards and others that we'll need to be thinking about. We need to step up our game with paying attention to federal legislation. There's a lot of stuff in Waxman-Markey which is not necessarily that good. Green for All has done some great stuff about getting good things in, but there's a lot of environmental justice concerns about what's in there that have not yet been addressed, that need to be addressed. We need to step up our game so that we bring a full set of skills and leadership and talent to try to take a look at the real policy questions ahead at the local and the national level. Finally, we need to recognize again what an important moment we're in and how the decisions we make right now will be setting the context not just for the next year. just for how we come out of a recession, but how it is that we refashion the American economy, how it is that we refashion our relationship to each other, how it is that we refashion our relationship to the environment, how it is that we create or don't create pipelines and pathways out of poverty for those who've been left behind. I want to close with a quote, not from a famous economist and social commentator, someone like Paul Krugman, but from another famous social commentator, Eminem. Now, some of you may have seen the movie 8 Mile. How many people have seen the movie 8 Mile? That's good. That's good. And you may remember that at the end of 8 Mile, after Eminem comes up and throws down the rap and kind of finally wins the rap battle, the song comes up, Lose Yourself. And the first lines in Lose Yourself are, look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? This is our moment. We're going to need everything we have in terms of new skills and new leadership and new concrete programs. We're going to need new policies, new partnerships, and new politics. We're going to have to combine green with growth, jobs with justice, and organizing with outcomes. If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything we've been working on for years, will we capture it or will we let it slip?